The changing of the guard, when the ego retires and the spirit rings the bell. The setup. 51 years of rote, Professor Ellis Fowler, bookish and weary, represents the ego's story of laboring long but arriving at emptiness. 51 years in the classroom, 51 years of reciting poetry and slogans, 51 years of being above the students he secretly resented. And when the trustees tell him his contract won't be renewed, the mask cracks. He is left asking the question every ego eventually asks. Did I matter? Did I exist? Notice his lament. I left no imprint. I moved nobody. That is the cry of the separated self. The ego's obsession with return, with proof, with continuity. It is not enough to have lived. It must be seen as living. It must be validated, stamped, remembered. The ego cannot survive without its guard, history, legacy, and grievance. Replacement, the ego's holy water. The headmaster speaks of replacement and youth must be served. This stings Fowler because the ego trembles at the idea of being replaced. New wife, new teacher, new quarterback, the ego whispers, "You are disposable." And what does the ego do when it fears disposal? It clings. Fowler clings to his title, his years, his small authority. But here lies the deeper question. What happens when the labels are gone? When the role dissolves? When even the body fades? The ego calls it death. The spirit calls it life eternal. That is the true changing of the guard, the gun and the bell. Fowler considers ending his life because the ego only knows one retirement plan: annihilation. Rest of my life sounds to him like a death sentence because he believes life was contained in his 51 years of teaching. But just as he raises the gun, a bell rings. The bell is no mere sound, it is the toll of awakening. It interrupts the ego's script. Just as John Donne's poem reminds us, "Never send to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee." The bell is spirit calling the mind back to remembrance. It is not death's bell, it is resurrection's bell, the ghostly students. And then come the ghosts, former students who died in war or sacrifice, each testifying that Fowler gave them courage, ethics, loyalty, patriotism. On the surface, this looks like sentiment, the teacher learning that he did matter after all. But metaphysically, what's happening here? The ego fabricates witnesses to confirm its existence. It stages an afterlife pageant to soothe itself. See, I left a mark. But the truth is, Fowler never needed external witnesses. The spirit is the witness. Love itself was always the imprint. The lesson isn't that Fowler's slogan saved boys in battle. It's that what is given in love cannot die, even if unrecognized. The students appear as ghosts, because that's all projection ever is, shadows of a mind still trying to prove it lived. Mrs. Landers. The true landing. Enter Mrs. Landers, whose name itself means to land. She is the grounding presence, the quiet spirit who doesn't need to perform. She listens, she offers food, she smiles. While Fowler dramatizes, she embodies. She is the reminder that reality doesn't require defense or proof or ghostly applause. It simply is. Fowler lies to her at the end, saying, "I think I will retire. I've taught all I can teach. I may have left my mark." But she doesn't challenge or confirm him. She just stands as the landing strip of peace, the silent witness that none of his noise was necessary. The real changing of the guard. The title is perfect. On the surface, it's about a teacher retiring. But in the spirit's classroom, the guard that changes is the sentinel of shame. The watchman of ego steps down, and the bell invites Christ to take his place. This isn't about retiring from teaching boys. It's about retiring from teaching through the ego. The ego says, be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity. The spirit says, be ashamed only if you believe in death at all. Fowler's ghosts say, you left us ethics, courage, patriotism. The spirit says, you left nothing because nothing real can be left. And you lost nothing because nothing real can be lost. That is the Truth Factory verdict. Fowler's entire crisis was built on a false premise. That existence requires a mark, a return, a legacy. The spirit corrects. Existence requires nothing because existence is eternal. Closing bell. When the boys sing carols outside his window, Fowler smiles. He thinks he has found solace in their voices. But the real solace was always in the bell. The toll of awakening. The reminder that there is no death, no failure, no shame. The changing of the guard is not about youth replacing age, or ghosts soothing loneliness. It is the exchange of ego's false sentinel for the ever-present Christ. The guard has changed. The ego has retired, and the spirit has taken its place.